And welcome to Standard Voice Global Television News today, 29 April 2026, equivalent Islamic calendar 12th day of Zulqa'dah 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris in the headlines. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unveils his 2027 re-election bid and pick of form. House of Representatives approves federal government's over $560 million loan for superhighway. Troops rescue kidnapped victim and recover 8 million naira ransom in Plateau State. On the international scene, Ukraine's drone strike rushes major oil refinery again. On sports updates, FIFA boosts World Cup cash reward, citing rising costs of participating in teams. These are mornings will be coming to you in the bulletins. To stand by. Thank you for joining, and now the news in details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially unveiled his 2027 election case by obtaining the All Progressives Congress APC presidential nomination and expression of interest forms in Abuja. Tinubu was represented by James Feleke, who represents the Ikeja Federal Constituency of Lagos State in the House of Representatives and serves as a leading figure in Tinubu support group TSG. The forms were presented to Feleke by the APC National Organization Secretary Suleiman Argungu. It was gathered that a combined fee of 100 million naira was paid on his behalf by loyalists and support groups drawn from across the country. Feleke, while addressing journalists after the exercise, pushed back against propositions that any single individual or group has sponsored the presidential form, insisting the funds were from contributors across Lagos and beyond. Also, it was gathered that Osifo Stanley from Edo State purchased 100 million naira and presidential nomination forms to challenge Tinubu for the APC ticket at the primaries. Southwest Zone of the African Democratic Congress ADC has supported the defeat of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the region, insisting that Nigerians are ready for a credible alternative ahead of 2027 general elections. The National Vice Chairman Southwest Akimboale Omole, who made the position known during a maiden Southwest Zonal Press Conference of the party in Ibadan, Oyo State, disclosed that the zone has begun a new phase of mobilization and reorganization. He also noted that the new Southwest leadership was formally inaugurated in Ibadan in February 2026 with the approval of the party's National Caucus and National Working Committee (NWC), performed by Rauf Arebashala, who currently serves as National Secretary of the party. Amole said the ADC has become the most credible alternative to what he described as the failed administration of President Tinubu, adding that the party is committed to rescue Nigeria from hardship, insecurity, economic decline, and poor governance. In another development, African Democratic Congress ADC has written to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, demanding speedy delivery of judgment in the leadership crisis strengthening its political fortunes. The party, which is home to a coalition of frontline opposition figures, lamented that if the Supreme Court did not deliver its verdict within the next 3 days, it will face a grave and irreversible risk of being excluded from participating in the 2027 general elections. David Mark led faction of the ADC in a letter dated April 28 drew the attention of the CJN to the elections timetable and schedule of activities that were earlier released by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The party, which in separate statement alleged that the crisis in the People's Redemption Party (PRP) was caused by the All Progressives Congress (APC), spoke as the PRP said it is ready for any manner of aggression, warning that its restraint should not be mistaken for weakness. This is coming as senior lawyers dismiss claims of a conspiracy over the Supreme Court to lead in deciding the fate of the EDC, with barely 11 days to INEC's deadline for submission of membership registers, even as they warn that timing could have decisive political consequences. Senator Kabiru Marafa has dumped the African Democratic Congress ADC for Nigerian Democratic Congress NDC and wishes former party well. Marafa was speaking in Abuja at the residence of Senator Siraki Dixon during his formal reception into the NDC, stressed that his decision was informed by policy-driving considerations centered on inclusion, equity, and internal democracy. Marafa's defection is coming barely 3 weeks after he urged his supporters in ZAMFARA state to commence a registration drive in the EDC. The move is part of ongoing political realignments ahead of the next election cycle, with analysts suggesting it could reshape party dynamics, particularly in the northwest geopolitical zone. In same vein, Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed has resigned from the Labour Party and his intention to join the People's Redemption Party. The 2023 Labour Party vice presidential candidate made the disclosure on Tuesday during an appearance on Channel's television Politics Today program, while accusing the ruling All Progressives Congress APC of prioritizing distracting opposition parties over governance. So on the news, Labour Party has elected Nnamdi Usman as the substantive national chairman of the party. Usman, a former caretaker national chairman, was elected along with other members of the National Working Committee of the Labour Party during the 2026 National Elective Convention of the party held in Abia State. Others elected were Ihan Nakru Obioma, National Secretary, and Hilda the Kubo, National Woman Leader. It was gathered that the convention also adopted the consensus method and the affirmative mode as the method for electing the new party leaders. In his remarks, Governor Alex Oti lauded the chairman of the National Congress and Convention Committee, Jinja Onu Wisibe, and Secretary Salisu Muhammad for conducting a credible national convention for the party. He also described Usman as a woman of integrity. In her acceptance speech, Usman commended the delegates for their confidence reposed in her to lead the party and vowed that she would not betray trust. House of Representatives has approved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's demand to secure a $516.33 million loan from Dutch Bank to finance Section 1 of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway project. The approval followed the consideration of the request by the Committee of Supply during plenary, presided over by the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas. Tinubu, in a letter read on the floor of the lower chamber, described the superhighway as a transformative national project aimed at connecting Nigeria's far northwest to its southwestern coastline through an approximately 1,000-kilometer dual carriageway stretching from Ilela in Sokoto State to Badagry in Lagos State. The corridor is also expected to pass through Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos State, opening up major agricultural, commercial, and industrial hubs across Nigeria. The president explained that the project is designed to stimulate economic growth by significantly improving the movement of goods and people across Nigeria's northern and southern regions. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. So to come in the news. Nigerian Army rescue kidnapped victims and recover 8 million naira ransom in Plateau. On the international scene, Ukraine's drones strike Russia's major oil refinery again. And on sports update, FIFA boosts World Cup cash reward, citing rising costs of participating in teams. There's some more news will be coming to you after this short break. Do stand by. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continues. Troops of Operation Enduring Peace has rescued a kidnapped victim and recovered the ransom paid by the family during a coordinated operation. The operation underscores the military's commitment to dismantling criminal networks and protecting citizens within the Operation Enduring Peace Joint Operations area. The Media Information Officer Joint Task Force Operation Enduring Peace Captain General So Polycarp Ote in a statement said the rescue operation was initiated following the kidnapping of a female victim from Bauna, an area of Shandam local government area of Plateau State. The statement also added that through rigorous intelligence gathering and interrogation of an arrested suspect who confessed to the crime, troops were able to identify the victim's location at Padam Forest in Compant local government area where the victim was found and rescued. Ote explained that the operation also resulted in the recovery of the sum of 8 million naira, which was previously paid by the victim's family as a ransom to the kidnappers. In another development, the government has urged to protect and provide humanitarian support to residents of Yelwata in Benue State following last year's attack. The Israel government's Commissioner for Freedom of Religion, Obelief Thomas, writes another call at a press briefing in Abuja after a fact-finding visit to affected communities, including internally displaced persons camps. Rachel, who described his visit to Yelwata as emotional, noted that supervisors of the June 2025 massacre where over 200 people were killed expressed stress about their safety and future. The commissioner also stressed that insecurity remains a major concern across Nigeria, noting that both Christians and Muslims are victims of extremist violence. It will be recalled that some assailants invaded Yelwata in the early hours of Friday, June 13, 2025 in Guma local government area of Benue State and killed over 200 villagers. A retired General Kapi Alwali Kazir has alleged that the popular Hausa language television station Ariwa 24 is a secret tool of the United States Central Intelligence Agency CIA aimed at eroding Islamic values and cultural traditions in northern Nigeria. Kazir, in a widely circulated view piece, asserted that Ariwa 24 was not owned by Nigerians but created under the guise of countering Boko Haram extremism. He also claimed that its true purpose was to promote Western ideologies that contradict the region's religious and cultural identity, while alleging that the channels subtly encourages behaviors such as drinking alcohol, disregarding religious practices, and promoting Western social norms, including LGBTQ+ rights. He also accused the station of scheduling entertainment programs during prayer times to distract young people from their religious obligations. Kazir therefore criticized the platform for highlighting artists and celebrities who do not embody Islamic morality, potentially influencing younger generations away from traditional values. Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has described as a monthly salary of 1 million naira as valueless to workers without a stable naira and improved economic condition. NLC President Joe Ajero, who made this assertion during an interview with journalists in Abuja, said organized labor is more concerned about the value of the naira than nominal wage increases. He also stressed that rising inflation had continued to erode workers' purchasing power, noting that the steady increase in the cost of living has made it difficult for workers to afford necessities, including food, transportation, and housing. The Labour leader also emphasized that the ongoing conversion around a new national minimum wage was followed leg down procedures, adding that it is governed by law and tied to a specific review cycle. Ajero said the Labour will initiate the process within the stipulated window before the expiration of the current wage structure and called for urgent intervention to cushion the impact of inflation. Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) has framed local government chairmen in ZAMFARA State as part of effort to strengthen accountability and curb corruption at the grassroots. The sensitization workshop brought together council chairmen and officials from the Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Chairman of the ICPC, Musa Adamu Aliyu, who was represented by the resident anti-corruption commissioner in charge of Katsina and ZAMFARA states, applauded the commitment of the Ministry and Local Government chairman to the initiative. Also speaking, the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, represented by Permanent Secretary Yakubu Yari, emphasized that the Governor, Dawuda Lawal's administration, maintains a zero-tolerance stance on corruption. In his remarks, the chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ANTI-GRAFT, the first state chapter, Samaila Moriki, described the initiative as strategic and essential, stressing the critical role of local government as the closest tie of government to the people. Moving to the foreign scene, Russia's major oil refinery on the Black Sea has been attacked for the third time this month by Ukrainian drones, causing a massive fire and forcing the evacuation of people living nearby. Local officials said earlier strikes in the past 2 weeks at the Svtv refinery caused a big oil spill in the sea, and residents reported black rain falling on the city and leaving residue all everywhere. The Kremlin accused Ukraine of further increasing the oil shortage in global energy markets and provoking further destabilization. Ukraine's military confirmed the latest drone strikes, saying such refineries have formed Russia's full-scale invasion launched in 2022. Krasnodar Regional Governor Benjamin Kondratyev, in a post on Telegram, said over 165 fighters were deployed to extinguish the blaze on Tuesday. No casualties were reported. He added that firefighters and other rescuers were working in extremely difficult conditions, and he described their effort as true heroism. Finally, to the sport on scene, Federal International Football Association FIFA has boosted overall World Cup cash disbursement to nearly $900 million, following worries over the rising costs for teams taking part in the tournament. FIFA, in a statement, said the money shared between the 48 teams taking part in the finals in Mexico, Canada, and the United States will now total $871 million, up from an initial figure of $727 million announced in December. The cash injection was announced following a meeting of FIFA's ruling council ahead of the body's congress taking place in Vancouver. The increase comes after several FIFA members reportedly argued that the high cost of travel, tax, and overall operations could result in them losing money from taking part in the tournament. Football's global governing body has now moved to alleviate those concerns, hiking an award of $1.5 million for preparation costs to $2.5 million for each of the qualified teams. Finally, on the news, the top stories again. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unveils his 2027 re-election bid and pick of form. House of Representatives approves federal government's over $560 million loan for superhighway. Troops rescue kidnapped victim and recover $8 million ransom in Plateau State. On the international scene, Ukraine's drone strike Russia's major oil refinery again. On sports updates, FIFA boosts World Cup cash reward, citing rising costs of participating in teams. That's Standard Voice Television Global News today. On behalf of the production crew led by Ilya Adamu Auta, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. Thank you for investing your time and staying with the news.